Well, we are back for another one of these podcasts to go over some new things. It's been a while since we've done it, so I need to kind of get back into the swing of things. But we've got a few things to talk about, a few things to go over. There was, because it was the Daredevil stuff that is just kicked off now. So that was like right as I was about to sort of set up the stream, I realised, oh, there's some stuff going on with Daredevil that's fucking really, really big news. And it's like, oh, this is obviously gonna... They're gonna try and avoid disaster and just probably run back into disaster anyway. So that's kind of what we've got. On the Marvel front, we've also, I suppose, we'll talk about Loki Season 2. I don't really want to, but we may as well talk about it. And I've got a few updates to go over, so probably about halfway through the stream. We'll go through all that. But I'm just trying to get back into the swing of everything, really. So I'm got a lot of changes. A lot of changes to this channel and the other two channels I've got, so that's what we got to go over. But as I say, we'll go over that about halfway through. But that's pretty much what we'll be going over the day. A bit of Daredevil, a bit of Loki. Save Loki for the end, because I'm desperate not to talk about it again. So tired of just time travel and multiverses. I really wish they'd just shove it up their arse. That's kind of where I'm at now with the likes of all this time travel shite. Is just get rid of it. I'm tired of it. Just do Back to the Future or fuck off. That's kind of my attitude towards like just time travel and it's like I don't care anymore. It's like, yeah, you know, do it if you've got talent, but if you haven't, just leave it. Just don't bother. Just do something normal. But they refuse to do that. That just seems to be where we're heading, mainly with... Well, it's really just Marvel now, isn't it? It's really just them that... You know, Phase 4 was meant to be... Oh, we're now doing multiverses. We still haven't... And now they're like, oh, we're doing multiverses in Phase 5. It's like, well, you said that you were doing that for Phase 4. So we've got a long way to go until we're done with the multiverse phase. Which at this point it's like, why are they even bothering with multiverses? We don't need it, but that's kind of what we're stuck with Marvel. Just stuck in that same trap, and it's gonna be a very long time. A very long time until we actually get out of that. But yeah, Loki Season 2, I just, again, even when I was like watching it, I was just like, I can't be fucked. I can't be arsed. With all this time travel nonsense that they don't go out of their way to make sense. They seem to think, oh, well, if we're self-aware, like within the show, if we're self-aware that this doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever, that somehow makes it genius. And it's like, no. It's still time travel mechanics that don't make any sense. But that's what we got in the first episode. So yeah, it's just, you know, again, we're not getting out of that multiversal time travel trend. And it's like, you know, again, it's the idea that we're after, you know, 3 phases, you then start going into multiverses already. It's just it really is just a sign of, oh, you didn't have a clue. You didn't have a clue after we were done with the whole Infinity Saga where to go next. You just didn't know. So you thought, time travel. You know, that's generally why they've went that route. In most cases, you know, it's like Indiana Jones, like the recent film. You know, they go into, like, they can't think of a normal idea, so they go, oh, well, time travel. That's all we got. We can't come up with anything else. We've got to raise the stakes to time travel. And it's just become really, really fucking boring. But I suppose before we get into the Loki stuff, which, as I say, we'll save that to the end. We might as well dive into this Daredevil article that just came out. It came out like probably 5 minutes before I set the stream up. Because yeah, we were already going to talk about Daredevil because there was something that come out about its, there was a kind of basic, plot kind of thing. We don't need to go over that now because it seems as though they're redoing the Daredevil series. They've filmed like barely half of the 18 episodes that they announced, and now they're like, right, we've got to pull the plug and start the fuck again. And it's just like, what are you doing? I don't know how. It's like, surely once you get to a point where you filmed a certain amount, it's like you can't really go back on that. But it's like the amount of times, we hear about this all the time, all the reshoots and everything. It's like, why the fuck are you spending this amount of money on redoing things? All right, that's you employ people that you really shouldn't. That's where the issue lies. So now with this whole Daredevil Born Again business, all the writers have been let go, all the directors have been let go, and it's getting fully revamped after filming multiple episodes. It's just like, why are you not just making sure you've got the right people there? It's like this Daredevil show that you do should be fucking easy. It's like, get, Stephen S. Tonight, I believe that's his name, that was the showrunner for the Netflix series. Get all the writers that were on the Netflix series and bring them over onto this show and do it that way. We may not end up with something great, but you could at least bet that, we'll probably end up with something decent. But they didn't do that. They thought, we know better. We know better. We're going to bring in people with no experience. We're going to bring in people from the CW that wrote on the shows over there. And that's somehow going to work out. And they're now in the position of, we got to redo it. We got to redo it. How's it going, Biffa? So it's just, and like even now, I believe it is in this article that they're now like for, since Disney Plus got going, on their TV shows, they had no showrunners, which is just, what are you doing with that? I don't really understand why they took that approach instead of just taking the approach that fucking works. Not every time, but it's like, that's the most efficient way to do it. Have a showrunner and then, have your writers. Just have a showrunner that oversees the entire thing. They know where the series is going. But they went, we'll just have a head writer that doesn't that comes in, writes the first couple of episodes maybe, and then leaves it to whoever's there. So they're now doing that. It mentions here traditional TV culture. It's like, I don't know why you didn't have showrunners in the first place. So we'll go through. It's quite a big article anyway. So there's quite a lot of stuff to go over. It really is a big fucking article. So I'm probably gonna have to do a video on this at some point, because I don't think we've seen it as bad as this, where they've got to almost halfway through filming. Of course they had the writer's strike that put it on hold, and now they're like, we got to redo it. We got to redo the entire thing. Although the only thing I'm curious about is in what way. Are they gonna reshoot certain stuff and then mix it in with the other stuff? Because it's like, we've seen that happen, and it never ends up well. Never ends up good. When they just reshoot stuff, it always ends up just a jumbled mess. So I'm not sure if that's sort of the approach they're taking, or if it is just, no, we're starting again with brand new writers. My assumption, based on the way they talk about it in this article, it seems as though that's in fact what it is. I mean, just throwing money down the toilet. That's really all they're doing. But then again, how much? I suppose, do you take the damage with a really shit show, or do you make the attempt to fix it? Which I don't think Marvel have the ability to do. Not unless they get people that are talented, but the talented people don't want to work for Marvel because it's a dead end. That's what writing for Marvel, directing. That's what that is. Writing for that's a dead end job. You're not going on to bigger projects with other studios because you directed fucking Ant-Man 3. It's like you're not going off any higher level with that. But let's go through this anyway. So they say Daredevil hits reset button as Marvel overhauls its TV business. Launched during the pandemic with a playbook to shoot $150 million plus seasons with no pilots, the Disney unit is undergoing growing pains and seeing the logic of traditional TV culture. It's like they had a Disney Channel. Surely they ran it like in a traditional TV sense. Like I don't know, like the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It's like surely you had showrunners for that. So it's like I don't know why it's like, oh no, we're finally seeing the logic. It's like you should have already had that logic installed in your brains. It's like before a streaming service, you had the Disney Channel with TV shows on there. So it's just like I don't know what made you veer away from that. But it's like it's really obvious that when it comes to Disney Plus, they don't know how to make TV. They've got no idea of what a TV show is. That's why we have like Loki or Ahsoka, and fuck all happens for an entire season. Like they've got no clue how to pace these shows out. It's just really strange, considering it's not their first time making TV shows. Just in the Disney umbrella. But let's get into this anyway. I better zoom in a little bit. Let me just see, just so we can give it a look-see proper. Right, that should be big enough. Right, so let's get into this anyway. See what we've actually got. We'll probably be here a while going through this one, I reckon. We'll probably try and skim some of it if we can. But they say it didn't take long to see the problem after Marvel Studios' Daredevil Born Again paused production mid-June during the writer's strike. Fewer than half of the series' 18 episodes, so yeah, almost halfway had been filmed, had been shot, but it was enough for Marvel executives, including Chief Kevin Feige. They went to Kevin Feige for advice. Again, it's like, I don't know why Kevin Feige is in charge of anything. It's like, we all know he's not a creative. We've heard about his ideas. They're all shit. So it's like, get rid of Kevin Feige. They really do need to get rid of him. Or just not let him have any creative, like, input. Because it's just like, he doesn't help anything. To review the footage and come away with a clear-eyed assessment, the show wasn't working. And you waited until they had filmed almost half of it. It's just the incompetence of just Disney in general. It's like, we're going to wait till we've spent like hundreds of, however many millions of dollars, and then we're going to go, right, let's have a look at this. Oh no, we know we've spent $50 million on this so far, but now we're going to have to redo it now. It's like you waited that long. So, maybe because, as they said in this article, with all their series, they don't have pilots. Why? It's like, why not, make the first episode, then the higher-ups give it a look-see, have a look if it's worth anything, and then go, right, we'll move ahead with this then. But it's like, now we're just in the production, in the sludge pipe it goes, and we're not going to think much more on the matter. So in late September, Marvel quietly let go head writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, which again, these were two guys that didn't really have much experience. It was all shows. It was all shows that nobody's heard of. That's kind of what it was. How you going, Devontae? It has been a while. It was two guys that had just done, a little bit here and there on shows that nobody's ever heard of. Also released the directors for the remainder of the season as part of a significant creative reboot of the series. So let me just read that again to see if I got that right. So they let go head writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, and also released the the head writers, they're fully gone out the door, and the directors have just been, I suppose, let go for, again, it doesn't really make it clear if it's a, full revamp, that we're starting from the very beginning again. I don't know if it is that, or if it's, we're going to be in the Echo situation where they film the entire thing, realize it's utter dog shit, they reshoot it again, and it's utter dog shit, and they're like, oh, we gotta drop all this in one day. Yeah, we'll go into Summer Loki sort of at the end, but yeah, terrible show. I can't be bothered with it. So that's kind of what's going on. They've got rid of the head writers, and and the directors are gone as well. The studio is now on the hunt for new writers and directors for the project, which again, it's like it's near impossible to find anyone that has any talent whatsoever, because it's like they don't want to work for Marvel. I just don't see a talented writer going, I want to get me a job at Marvel, which is like, yeah, maybe 10 years ago. At this point, it's like, why? Which stars Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. I feel bad for Charlie Cox because he's going to be handed some dog shit. The Daredevil revamp is the latest in a series of growing pains for Marvel Television. Since debuting the Emmy-winning WandaVision, did that actually win an Emmy? In January 2021, the studio, which dominated the film industry in the 2010s, has released more than 50 hours of TV programming after creating a small-screen division from the ground up during the pandemic. Through it all, the company eschewed the traditional TV making model. It didn't commission pilots, which, again, it's like, have a pilot first, see if it's worth putting out, and then go ahead with it. Don't just go all in. Here's $150 million. Just make a show, and we're not going to pay any mind to what you're actually making. Didn't commission pilots, but instead shot entire $150 million plus seasons. And it's like, this is the exact reason why when you get Kevin Feige coming out saying things like, oh, we're going to be focusing more on quality. It's like, yeah, that's going to take years, Kevin. Because what you've done is you've went, right, we're going to grab 20 projects and we're going to start making them all at the one time. It's like, well, that's not a good way to make anything, is it? Because you're going to have most of it not really like worth anything, like for anyone watching it. But that's just the Marvel way now. It's like, we just make a load of projects. Here's $150 million. We don't want to see what you're doing first. Away you go. It's like, what are you expecting to gain out of that? I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that question, Devontae, once we sort of get a bit more through that. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Just to have your mainly it's just through like OBS and things like that. I'll come back to your question anyway, sort of once we get through this. So that's what they've been doing. No pilots, just here's your money, go. It didn't hire showrunners, which again, it's like you need someone that oversees the entire project, so they can keep track of what people are doing. But it's like what we've had is you'll have head writers, they'll come in, they'll maybe do an episode or two, and then they'll just leave. They just go, right, here you go, staff writers, do what you want with it. Which is like, what, you're not going to have anything cohesive doing it that way. But instead depended on film executives to run its series, and as Marvel does for its movies, it relied on post-production and reshoots to fix what wasn't working. Like, rather than just get someone to write the script and go, right, we've got the script, we've done multiple redrafts, we've got it ready, there should be no problems here. Here you go, director, whoever's putting it together, and then you make the film, and then you've got less hassle at the end of it and less money to spend on it. Because it's like a lot of these films, whether it's the Marvels, $200 million, it's like, how much more money do you think they're piling on top of it? Like, just with reshoots. And it's like, you just end up with a massive mess, like we've had with Doctor Strange. Yeah, no, I don't understand. You know, that's like another problem they've had is hiring Rick and Morty writers. It's like It's like we've had She-Hulk failure. We've had Loki season 1 and Multiverse of Madness from Michael Waldron failures. You know, although Multiverse of Madness, it made money, but that was because of No Way Home. Uh, and then you have Ant-Man 3, which is again another Rick and Morty writer. And then we have Loki season 2, another Rick and Morty writer. It's like, it seems to me that they're just looking at, they're just, right, we're doing multiverse stuff. So, who's been working on multiverse stuff? Oh, well, Rick and Morty does that sort of stuff. And it's just like, yeah, but they're writing 20-minute episodes. And Dan Harmon is in charge. The idea that you're going to get those guys to write a movie, it's fucking insane. But that's like another pitfall that they have. They keep hiring Rick and Morty writers, which is just like, people like that ain't built for movies, or I suppose, I guess Rick and Morty again. It's like one episode things, and then they move on to whatever else. Whereas that's the thing. They don't look. These Rick and Morty writers, they don't care that the movies or the TV series that they're making exist within within a continuity, within a franchise, but they treat it as though, oh no, we're making spoof films. It's like, no, you're not. But that's how they treat it. Again, you can have shows like Loki that are parody type things, which is what the Loki series is. But you can have it so it doesn't exist within the main Marvel continuity. So I don't know why they wouldn't just do that, rather than, no, we're going to destroy everything, because that's what they've done every single time. So what do they say? And as Marvel does for its movies, it relied on post-production, right? So we already knew most of that. Even though they remain, along with Star Wars titles, the most watched shows on Disney Plus Marvel series, not really. Again, it's like, I don't know how they can call any of these shows that they put out successes, because it's like they're not. It's like you had Loki season 1, that done the best out of these series, and its best was like, what did it get? I think for its like first episode of season 1, it was like, I don't know, it must have been over 2 million or something like that in like 3 days. It's like, that's not really good, is it? So I wouldn't even call any of those shows successes. Marvel series have recently faced a number of creative challenges and cries of diminishing returns from critics and audience metrics, causing a major shift at the studio to move to make TV shows the more traditional way. We're trying to marry the Marvel culture with the traditional television culture. Marvel says Brad Winderbaum, Marvel's head of streaming, television and animation. It comes down to, how can we tell stories in television that honor what's so great about the source material? So they kind of went from, we're not hiring anybody that cares about the source material, to now, oh, we've got to honor the source material. It's like with Marvel at this point, is that, not that I read a lot of comics or anything, but at this point, is there anything that even resembles the source material? The only sort of source material they seem to take is all the new stuff that nobody buys. That seems to be, the source material that they're talking about. With Daredevil's new direction, Marvel hopes to right the ship on a project with sky-high expectations. No, I've got no expectations. I'm expecting 18 episodes of pure diarrhea. That's my expectation for Daredevil Born Again. I don't see it. I don't see it turning out any other way. It's 18 episodes as well. It's like, fuck. That's gonna be tiring to sit and watch all of that. With sky high expectations again. There ain't no expectations. The show is Marvel's first to feature a hero who already had a successful series on Netflix. Yeah, again, and they didn't think, oh, we'll hire the people that made that a success on Netflix. They thought, now we'll get new people that clearly don't know what they're doing. Running 3 seasons, but sources say that Corman and Ord crafted a legal procedural, which we've already had in the form of She-Hulk. They didn't know anything about the law. They knew nothing. But yeah, crafted a legal procedural that did not resemble the Netflix version. Yeah, they were gonna dumb it down and make it for kids. It's like, oh great, that's gonna bring people on board. Known for its action and violence, Cox didn't even show up in costume until the 4th episode. Marvel, after greenlighting the concept, found itself needing to rethink the original intention of the show. They decided to do that, about 6 episodes in of filming. Marvel plans to keep some scenes and episodes, right? So they again, that's what it's just like. Yeah, you're gonna, if you're gonna redo something, just redo it. Don't go, well, we want to keep this scene and this element, and then we want to mesh it with our new stuff, and it's like, right, so now you're just creating something that's like all over the place. That's why we've ended up with just messes of films like Multiverse of Madness, because they do all this. Oh well, we'll keep that bit. We'll add this bit in. We'll add that bit in. It's like no wonder it's a mess. It's like, can't you just keep on track? But they don't want to do it. Though other serialized elements will be injected, with Corman and Ord becoming executive. Right, so it's fucking hell. Get rid of them or don't get rid of them. So they've still got these guys on as executive producers. It's like, why? Daredevil is far from the first Marvel series to undergo drastic behind-the-scenes changes. I mean, it happens with every project they do now. Since the start of Phase 4, every single project has been done this way. They've had to drastically alter things with every single project that they've done. Those who work with Marvel on the TV side have complained of a lack of central vision. That's abundantly clear. That has, according to sources, begun to afflict the studio shows with creative differences and tension. TV is a writer-driven medium, says one insider. You ain't got any good writers, though, that's the problem. Familiar with the Marvel process. Marvel is a Marvel-driven medium. On the Oscar Isaac star of Moon Knight, show creator and writer Jeremy Slater quit, and director, we get a lot of that as well. They jump from director to director, from writer to writer, which, again, is a... so that's probably more of a... That's a bigger problem on the DC side of things. They especially with what we've had over the years, they jump from one thing to the next. So it's just, you're getting a load of different things injected into it. Jessica Gao developed and wrote She-Hulk Attorney at Law, where apparently we were the villains, but was sidelined once director Kat Coiro came on board. Production was challenging with COVID hitting cast and crew, and Gao was brought back to oversee post-production, a typical showrunner duty, but it's the rare Marvel head writer who has such oversight. Even though the company does not have a writer's first approach to TV, no, they don't care about writing. Like, that's very obvious that Marvel, or just Hollywood in general, it's like writing has just taken a back seat. They don't even think about it anymore. They just do stuff like, oh, what if Hayden Christensen turns up? That'll make them love it. Like, they don't just think about put the writing first. There's just no focus on that. Directors could feel shortchanged as well. The whole fix in post attitude, which, again, an attitude especially Marvel need to get rid of. Like, the things that they fix with CGI, it's just like, why? just do it right the first time. Attitude makes it feel like a director doesn't matter sometimes, says one person familiar with the process. As its shows ramped up during the pandemic, Marvel stepped outside its usual staffing approach and brought in outside execs after years of internally promoting creatives who had been sufficiently trained in the Marvel method. And that didn't change anything. This change was felt most severely on Secret Invasion. Another fucking terrible series. The Samuel L. Jackson-led thriller that stands as... thriller my arse. That stands as Marvel's worst reviewed series. You know, it's really hard at this point to figure out what the worst Marvel series is. There's just so many of them, and what even was the best? I hear a lot of people say that Hawkeye was the best one. I didn't even finish that, and I'm still confused on how that can be the best one when they ruined Kingpin, when they had Kingpin get beaten by Girl Hawkeye within their first meeting. I'm just like, I don't know how you can call that the best one. Secret Invasion is definitely up there with the most hated one, and it probably is one of the worst ones with how they somehow managed to, well, it seems like they went out of their way to do it, destroy Nick Fury. But that was, the main reason people turned on that was the AI art thing. They didn't realize the shitty writing and all the destruction they brought. Kyle Bradstreet, a writer and executive producer on Mr. Robot, had been working on the scripts for Secret Invasion for about a year when he was fired after Marvel decided on a different direction. Because from what I heard, I don't know who was it that was saying it. I think it was Robert Meyer Burnett that read the scripts like years ago, or when it had first been done. And I think it was meant to be decent. But yeah, it seems like they did just take it another way. And that's why we ended up with what we ended up with. Enter new writer Brian Tucker, who penned the crime thriller Broken City. So yeah, was he the guy? I think Brian Tucker was the guy that done Secret Invasion. He only had one movie on his resume. Thomas Pizzucci, who helmed the thriller Let Him Go, and Ali Salim, that was the guy that said, "I don't care if you don't like my show," who worked on Hulu's 9/11 drama The Looming Tower, were on board as directors and to help crack the story. But yeah, it's like, a lot of people say Hawkeye's like the best one. I never finished it, and I'm glad I didn't because of Kingpin. I'm glad I didn't have to see the visual of that. So far, so normal, at least by Marvel's creative development standards. Details are murky. But what happened next in the summer of 2022 debilitated the production as factions became entrenched and leaders vied for supremacy during Secret Invasion's pre-production in London. It was weeks of people not getting along, and it erupted. Marvel declined to directly comment on the matter. The company dispatched Jonathan Schwartz, a senior executive, to get Secret Invasion back on track, and it still turned out really bad. When it was falling behind schedule and on the verge of losing some actors because of other commitments. Because you remember, the Secret Invasion took them... It took them like over a year to write the series. And that's how bad it ended up after having that amount of time to do it. So I don't even know how do you fall behind on a 6-episode series? It's like, I would understand if it's like 22 episodes. But it's like, if you're doing 6 episodes, I don't know how you fall behind on that. I really don't. Especially when it's not as if anything happens. It's not as if anything of consequence actually happens in Secret Invasion. So I don't know how you fall behind on it. And on the verge of losing some actors because of other commitments. By early September, a good portion of the Invasion team had been replaced with new line producers, unit production managers, and assistant directors. And Bazucha, who was supposed to direct 3 episodes, left the show because of new scheduling conflicts. The Marvel executive overseeing the show, Chris Gary, was reassigned, and according to sources, is expected to depart Marvel when his contract is up at the end of the year. As it moves forward, Marvel was making concrete changes in how it makes TV. They couldn't get it right the first time. It now has plans to hire... And again, it's like, you're making changes now after you've done I mean, how many series have they done? Not just including Marvel. It's like a good 20, maybe? Mate, it's probably more than that. And they're now like, yeah, things have got to change. After, like, 3 years. That's how long they've had their Disney Plus. It took you 3 years to go, I don't know about you, but maybe we need to change things. It now has plans to hire showrunners. Gal's post-production work on She-Hulk helped Marvel see that it would be helpful for its shows to have a creative through line from start to finish. Who'd have thought it? It's a term we've not only grown comfortable with, but also learned to embrace, says Winterbom of showrunners and Marvel TV's intention to hire them. The studio also plans on bringing full-time TV execs on board, rather than borrowing its film executives. Which, yeah, that kind of makes sense to do. I don't know why you go, film executive that only focuses on films, come and focus on this TV show, which is basically a different thing. We need executives that are dedicated to this medium, that are going to focus on streaming, focus on television, because they are two different forms. It also is revamping its development process. Showrunners will write pilots and show bibles. The days of Marvel shooting an entire series from She-Hulk to Secret Invasion, then looking at what's working and what's not, are done. So it's like all these like choices that that's what you should have already been doing. That's what every decision they're now making. It's like you should have already been doing that. I don't know where you've been throughout the countless centuries or decades of television. I don't know where they've been. And just as Loki, which returned October 5th, marked Marvel's first season 2 of a series, and that's because a little bit more people watched it than the other ones. The studio plans on leaning into the idea of multi-season serialized TV, stepping away from the limited series format that has defined it. Yeah, that's no problem, Devontae. I'll see you on the next one or at some point. Alright, so where were we? Marvel wants to create shows that run several seasons where characters can take time to develop relationships. It's like they'll make these changes, but they still won't do a good job of it. That's like the thing. It's like, even with all these choices, it's like that changes nothing because of the people that you're employing. Time to develop relationships with the audience rather than feeling as if they are there as a setup for a big crossover event, which is apparently what Loki Season 2 is. So they haven't changed that. Some of its next shows, in fact, promise to be more personal stories. Echo, which premieres in January. Get ready for Echo, everybody. What we're going to do is we're going to follow about woman on peg leg that can't speak. But, fucking hell. And it's like, yeah, that one's already a dead project. That's why they're dropping it all in one day. Like, all 6 episodes, they're dropping it in one day because they don't want to be a laughing stock for 6 weeks. So that's why that's already like that's a dead show. That's probably going to be one of the worst ones, I would bet. Echo, which premieres in January, is a grounded crime story with few visual effects, revolving around deaf Native American anti-hero Maya Lopez. Which it's like, who the fuck gives a shit about Echo? It's like they seem to think it's like if you go back maybe 5 years, like roundabout when the first phase came out and then the second phase, it's like at that point when you're at your peak, yeah, you can do things like Echo and like they did with Guardians. It's like nobody knew who Guardians were, but they were at the point where it's like, yeah, we can get people to come and see that because we got a good track record. Whereas now people are like, who the fuck's Echo? Or like just that's what it's like. Oh, Ironheart. It's like, who the fuck's Ironheart? So they keep bringing in these characters that nobody fucking knows, unless you are like fully into you're a comic book fan. But for the general audience, nobody knows who the fuck that is. So maybe just stick with Spider-Man, just the Iron Man. Just stick with the heavy hitters, because you can't afford to go, oh, we're going to do this random shit that nobody's heard of. It's like, what are you expecting out of that? Wonder Man, I don't know who fucking Wonder Man is. A show that was paused because of the writers and actors strike is meant to be a behind-the-scenes look at Hollywood at a character study of Simon Williams, a superhero. Right, so what is it? So it's a behind-the-scenes look at Hollywood, and it's also a character. I don't really get what that. So it's half a documentary, half a superhero show. A superhero who has a side gig as an actor and stunt. Right, I see. So it's kind of within the actual show. It's about a guy that's also an actor and a superhero. Winterbomb says he wants people to watch the shows because they love the characters. Wonder Man. I don't know who that is. They love the characters. It should work. It should work, he says, beyond the fact that it ties into other projects, or if they are going to be in a movie. That's another thing that they need to stop doing. I think with their series, they shouldn't have it. Oh, it ties in with this. Why? Nobody knows what's fucking going on. Because everything ties into everything. Everything gets referenced. It's like most people aren't watching everything you do. So it's like whenever you come into a new project, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what this reference is. But, again, there's a reason why they wanted to tie in to the Marvel. That's to get you to subscribe to Disney Plus. That's the only reason. Just to get you to sign up for that. It's going to be in a movie, or if it's setting up an Avengers film. I'm really looking forward to the Avengers films coming out just to see how badly they do. Because I mean that's really got to be the point. That's really got to be the point when Marvel realizes, yeah, we're dead. When we see an Avengers film fucking bomb, I think when they see that, it's like, yeah, it's over. We might as well give up now. But, then again, we're already hearing about, oh no, they're going to be rebooting the Marvel franchise with Secret Wars. It's like, why? Don't, this again, it's like, it doesn't really matter what they do, it's over. It's already over, because, again, you've got so many projects in the pipeline, you don't have time to course correct. You're never going to get to that point when you keep allowing things to be made. They need to honestly hit a pause button. Just go, right, we're making no more shows and movies. That's the end of it. We're not spending any more money. But they're not. They haven't realised that. They're just still like, keep making it, make this now and make that now. And they wonder why, like, nobody's coming back. Like, all the fans are gradually disappearing to the point of, there's this other thing that's going on now. They're making an adaptation of this video game. They got Zelda coming out. So that's really, they've already, again, it's like the superhero stuff. That is done. It's over. There's not going to be any way to revive it. You've pissed too many people off for too long. So all people want now is that they want something different. They're not interested in, again, it's like, even seeing, like, James Gunn and his DC universe, it's like, don't bother, James. It's fucking done. You're wasting your fucking time. So that's that. I do kind of find that funny that DC are like, right, we're going to get back on track. Yeah, but the superhero genre's dying. So it's just like, just don't bother, Warner Brothers. Just go, we'll make a Superman film. And don't go beyond that. Don't go, we're going to have a universe that will eventually fucking fuck up because we're not going to keep track of it. So that I do find somewhat funny. It's just like the superhero genre's dead. And DC are now course correcting. It's like, yeah, okay. You're a bit late to the party on that one. But yeah, it's like just going through that entire article there, it's like the majority of it we already knew, but now it's actually being fully reported on. Because sometimes they gloss over these little details. Like, oh yeah, you know, there's these obvious reasons why nothing's working. You know, sometimes they gloss over that. But you know, it gives you a bit of insider knowledge, which again, you know, most of it's like, yeah, you know, I kind of knew that because you know, there's a lot you can figure it out quite easily just based on watching all their stuff. It's like you can see what's going wrong. Just like you can tell when they've reshot this or reshot that, or they've got rid of this writer, now got this writer. It's like you just have all these messes for shows. But that will do us for Marvel for the next 5 minutes, and then we got to talk about Loki season 2. Although probably less about the actual episode. More about sort of the record 3-day audience for Disney Plus for Loki season 2. So we'll get into that in probably like the next 5 minutes, but we'll go into, because I've got some channel updates and things of that nature. So we'll spend a little time going over that, what's changing, what's coming as new. All right, where the fuck am I? Alright, okay. But yeah, we won't spend too long on it, because yeah, we're already like 46 minutes into this. Generally we go for about an hour, so we'll spend about 5 minutes. I'll just sort of go over what fucking changes are coming and things of that nature. Right, okay. Let's see if I can bring this up, can I? But yeah, basically we're just, you know, I've got three channels on the go now. And I've got this channel, I've got this new channel, which I'm still yet to upload anything to. And then I've, of course, got the live channel. So we'll sort of go through each one, and I'll just go over the sort of changes that are coming to like each one. Because at the moment, this channel here is fucking dying. I mean, that should be obvious. You know, it's just I don't think I've gained a subscriber in like over a month. So it's just like, oh, I probably shouldn't have taken that like month break. You know, it is fucking annoying how it works on YouTube. Oh, if you have a break, we're going to kill your channel. Oh, right, thanks for that. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So the sort of changes I am going to do on this channel, on this main channel, is going to be, right, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to, you know, regular videos. I'm not going to bother doing, like, these reviews anymore, because it's just like, you know, the other day I uploaded this Loki review. You know, it'd been out for like 6 hours. I looked at 12 views. That was worth the time I put in there. So it was kind of just like that. I'm just like, should I like really, you know, because it's this channel here that's going to be the sort of like review channel. Where it won't be doing it the same way I've been doing it. It'll be, you know, scripted. That's sort of the way I'm going to go with it. So that's sort of the first thing. So reviews, you know, like this, that'll sort of be done. Instead, what I'm going to do is like these Primal breakdowns I've been doing. I'm going to start doing more of those. And most, like, they're going to include, you know, TV series as well, where essentially I'll just go, right, I've got like the first 3 episodes of Loki. I'll do a stream breaking like all 3 episodes down. And then these streams, I'm going to take off of this channel, and then I'm going to put them onto this channel. I gotta change the name of the channel, and then that's going to be the sort of hub for, you know, for that particular podcast, and probably I'm considering uploading these over there as well. So that's kind of what that channel is going to become. The only thing I'm not sure about is what to do with gaming streams, because I did, you know, originally on this live channel I was gonna put on, I was gonna put all the game streams and that on here, but I'm just like, if I'm putting these on there, You know, it's like you're gonna have, you know, especially if I'm not doing as many. You know, if it's not a weekly thing, so you're gonna have, basically you're gonna have 8 of those episodes on there that I've got at the moment, and then it's just gonna be filled with fucking games. So I'm still not quite sure what to do with game streams. But that's so the live channel is gonna be the home of the Primal Breakdown, possibly this Primal TV shit, because I think that kind of makes sense to put with these. So that's what will be happening on this channel. On this channel, that's where all the review stuff will be from now on. You know, aside from I'll do streams to like break down certain shows, and then those will of course go over here. But yeah, for here it will basically be scripted reviews. You know, some of them will be, you know, multiple episodes, like as in the one video, so like, you know, part 1s and part 2s. Other shows it will be like a weekly thing. You know, I'll write up a script, put it on there. You know, whether it's like 20 minutes long, whatever. And that's kind of what that channel is, because I kind of want to get this channel built up. But it's just like I've had a lot of projects that I've worked on that have just ended up fucking falling through. It's like, I think I started off with a Flash. I ended up just taking too long with that, and plus I was fucking tired of the Flash. I was tired of every day. Right, I gotta fix this part of the script. Right, I got to edit this part, and I was just like, I don't care about this film. So that was kind of what made me go, fuck this one then. And then like, I've kind of got like almost an entire video for Ahsoka, but I'm not sure on whether to actually finish it. And that's just like, it was going to be split into 2 parts. So like the first part would be the first 4 episodes, the second part would be the you know, final 4. And I was going to do that with that, but I don't know if it's just too late to bother doing that anymore. I'm considering going back to it because I don't actually have that much left on it. All I've got is like an intro, an outro, and then like the last 20 minutes of episode 4 to like write as in a script. So I might finish that. I might not. I don't think I'm not going to be doing Loki, because pretty much on this channel I'm going to avoid time travel and multiverses as much as I fucking can, because I can't be bothered trying to think about, oh, does this time travel make any sense? Because it's just so confusing, especially these days. When it's just like they can't do time travel, they're not willing to just do it in the basic sense as they can. They just want to make it as complex as they can, and he's just like, I can't be bothered thinking about time travel. It takes too long. It just takes too long. So I'm probably going to avoid Loki for this channel. Again, I may finish off the Ahsoka stuff, mainly because of how far I've gotten into it, and I suppose the only other thing, you know, we've got the Marvels coming up, so that will be one that will end up on this channel at some point. And we're kind of, I'm kind of shit out of luck at like sort of starting this at this time of year, because we've now hit a point where like Loki, that's like the last series of the year from like the Marvel Star Wars like end of things. So there's not really much to do on that side. Again, we got the Marvels. Possibly, well, we've got that the Fall of the House of Usher. We've got that out tomorrow. So maybe I'll do like the odd, you know, 10-minute sort of video. But mainly it will be, you know, sort of long form fucking, you know, analysis. So that's what will be going on that channel. And as I say, all these streams that they're going to go on this channel. And I suppose like the stream that we're doing now, I'm going to start leaving these on this channel. So we might as well consider this a series of Ramblings 1. And then so I'll start leaving these up. And then, you know, again with this chat, I'm just going to go back to what I was originally doing, although just, you know, I suppose focus more on quality than quantity. So it'd be like 3 videos a week, at the most, just because I'm gonna try and spend a bit more time on them. because I want to revive this channel because it is dead at the moment. Like it honestly is just dead. I like the odd time I've considered going, shall I just fucking ditch this channel? But it's like I've gotten to the point of monetizing it, so it'd be silly to do that. I still haven't even been paid yet. You get monetized and then like, right, you need to hit this amount of money. Oh, great, right, and it's just taken so long. So yeah, I'll be leaving these streams like these are series of ramblers. I'll leave those up so people can watch them at any time, and we just consider this the first one. So those are the changes that come in. That will probably do. But yeah, we'll get back to just regular videos. They'll be a bit more edited, a bit less, or a bit more controlled. I'm not going to do it. You say a few sentences and then cut, and then the next few sentences. I'm probably going to do it like I'll write down some bullet points of what to talk about, and then I'll probably just like record it in sections. I find it because I did do it with a few videos where I thought, right, let's kind of record it like this, and then you get to a point because you're recording a bit at a time. You're putting it in the thing. You're chopping it up. And then you hit a point, right, where do I go next with this video? And it's like, oh, I don't know. So I can't really do it like that. I prefer just to sit and fucking talk about something. But I'm probably just going to make it so, there's a bit more, I suppose, a bit more of a through line, a bit more of a, it's just a bit more professional, I suppose the word would be. And that's sort of what we'll get back to. It's just as well that Daredevil news come out, because now I can do a video on that. Well, probably not till next week. I'll probably start them up next week, because I got a wedding on Friday to go to, so a bit hard to find time, because then Saturday I'm going to be fucking hungover. And then, even the day after being hungover, you're still like not 100%. But right, we're near enough finishing, so that will do for the YouTube side of things. We'll now dive into, if I can just pull up the right tab. We'll just have a little look at this Loki, because we haven't spoken about that yet. Which, as I say, in terms for now, reviewing Loki, I'm just going to, once the 3 episodes are out, I'm going to get all my notes together, and then we'll just do a big stream. And then that will sort of get that, Primal breakdown. That will keep that going. But yeah, Loki season 2 again. I spent 52 minutes fucking breaking it down the other day. It was definitely one of those shows. I was watching the first episode. I was like, I can't be fucked with this already. I just can't be bothered thinking about it. And then so then I had to rewatch it. Going through it bit by bit to get the notes. Because I was just, every time I hit time travel, I'm just like, for fuck's sake. Again, it's just like, none of it makes sense. It's always confusing. It's just, trying to think about it, I'm just like, I couldn't give a fuck less. But yeah, I'll end up covering that anyway. But yeah, Loki Season 2 has debuted its first episode, and apparently it's a record 3-day audience for Disney+. Who told us this? Oh, that's right, Disney. They don't actually have the data backing it up. They've just said, oh, it's a success. And I'm still always surprised that people sort of buy into it. It's the same with like Ahsoka. It's like the Star Wars official website came out saying, oh, 14 million viewers in the first 3 days. It's like, well, that's bullshit. And then, I suppose the evidence for the fact that they're just bullshitting, it's mainly you can just go to Amazon. It's like the Rings of Power. They said, oh, it's a massive global success. And then you find out only 37% of viewers finished it. It's like, oh, so you lied. You made that shit up that it was the most watched show on Amazon. So that's why it's like, yeah, anything that comes out of the mouths of Amazon, Disney, or just the people that make these things is generally bullshit. And that's probably, maybe it could be what this is. It's hard to say. Really, you can only trust the likes of Nielsen or Samba TV. That's really your best metric for figuring out if something is done well or not. But let's see what they say. Loki Season 2 debuted on Thursday, tallying 10.9 million global views in its first 3 days on the platform. That makes it the streamer's second most watched season premiere, which again, it's like 10.9 million from a global audience. That's not very good, is it? You've got over 100 million people subscribed. So it's like, 10%. You managed to get 10% out of the entire world. So it's like, even like numbers like that, they're not really impressive, are they? That makes it the streamer's second most watched season premiere this year, coming in behind season 3 premiere of The Mandalorian. A view for Disney is defined as a total stream time divided by runtime available. Disney never released data on viewership for The Mandalorian season 3. I wonder why. I wonder why that was, because nobody was fucking watching it. However, according to Nielsen, the first episode drew about 823 million viewing minutes in its first few days on Disney+. Loki's audience seems particularly strong, given that the last time Disney put out viewership data for the premiere of the latest Star Wars spin-off Ahsoka, it chose to tout the episode 5-day window, and they said it was 14 million people. Which I don't buy it. Just where Star Wars is, it's like, yeah, no chance. People didn't show up for they didn't even show up for the good show, like Andor. But yeah, they always do that as well to make it seem better. Originally it was, right, we have a 3-day window, this is what the view, and they then change it to, oh, this is the 5-day window. Right, so you haven't actually done better then, if you're extending the window of views. This makes sense considering Loki was one of Marvel's most successful Disney Plus series from the get-go. It was the first of them to get a second season, and, again, it's like they didn't even have... I mean, I'm pretty sure... I remember doing videos on it, but, like, Loki Season 1, like, between episode 1 to 3, like, almost half the audience were dipped out. So it's like this, how is it really a success? But it was just the one that got more than all the others. That's the only reason why. Which again, looking at Loki season 1, it's like, yeah, we don't need a season 2. Season 1 was awful, really bad. It's like people forget, like people seem to gloss over that show about the destruction it caused. That was the only show that when it came out, people were like, oh, it's so great, it's such a great show. Missing the part where they introduced there was no free will until the Loki series. Meaning everything our favourite characters chose to do based on their characteristics, or their values, whatever. They didn't do it because they wanted to do it, they did it because Kang said they should. Or Kang said, I'm going to make you do this, person. You're not actually doing it because you want to do it. And it's like, I don't know how you introduce something like that and don't get instantly fucking hated. Because that's like one of the worst things you can introduce into your universe. Or even things like making the whole Infinity Saga a joke. It's like, I don't even know how people get past episode 1 and like, that's great. It's like, even in episode 1, it's like they bring things up where it's like the amount of destruction you just caused with, oh, we've got these Infinity Stones that we use as paperweights. We spent 3 phases on Infinity Stones, these powerful gems. Black Widow lost her life to get one, and you're like, they're just being used as paperweights up here. Black Widow didn't actually have to sacrifice her life after all. She could have just went to the TVA. So it's just like, I don't know where the love comes from season 1 of Loki. It's fucking abysmal. It's just, again, the amount of... And it's like, Loki is patient zero in sort of Marvel's path or downward spiral into destroying everything. That was like really the first time where it's like, yeah, we're destroying everything. And that's, look at where we are now. It's like in tatters, everything. But when it premiered in June 2021, Loki had the most successful first day of any Marvel series on Disney Plus, drawing 890,000 US households. Samba TV reported at that time. So yeah, the first day, 890,000. It continued to smash records throughout its entire first season run. Loki Season 2 is expected to run through November 9th, and then the day after, the Marvels comes out. Can't wait for that. I honestly can't wait for that. I can't wait for... You know, the internet is just such a cozy place when something like, you know, I think the best time on the internet I've had since I've been doing YouTube is the Rings of Power. That was like, the internet was such fucking fun. Just every channel roasting the shit out of it. You know, you would go from this stream to that stream, and then you do your own videos on it. Just fucking tearing this show. It's such fun. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for Marvels. Because I wasn't around when Captain Marvel come out, so I missed out on all that drama. So I'm quite looking forward to... I'm hoping it's, you know, it's a bit of an internet sensation and people tearing it the fuck apart. Although, you know, maybe it won't turn out that way because it's going to bomb. It's not going to make money. So I do question who's going to really be talking about it other than the likes of, you know, YouTubers and things like that. Because I don't expect most people are going, but I'm just... it's going to be fucking terrible. But yeah, that's apparently Loki Season 2 success because Disney said so. That's the only reason why. But I suppose that brings us to the end of this stream, which, as I say, you might as well consider this the first one instead of 15, because I'm going to leave these streams now up on this channel. And well, we've already went over the updates, so there's no need to really go over it again. But yeah, in terms of Loki, I'll be reviewing that probably in the next couple of weeks. I'll just wait till the 3rd episode comes out, and then we'll do a stream. I don't really want to go over episode 1 again, but I suppose I'll have to. But yeah, I think we've covered some ground today on a lot of things. The Daredevil stuff was quite interesting. I did find that quite interesting stuff. But yeah, I think and next week I'm going to be back for some Halloween streams. Well, breaking down just some fucking classic horrors, really. I've been trying to figure out what to go over, because there's some movies that I did want to go over, and then I'm like, yeah, but everyone's kind of talked about that. And then I thought, fuck it, it's my favorite horror. I might as well talk about it. So we're gonna go break down The Thing and possibly The Fly. We'll see what how much time we've got. But we're only halfway through the month, so we've got plenty of time to do that. So sometime next week I'll do those. On Sunday, I think I'm going to be streaming Lords of the Fallen. Lords of the Fallen. I think I'm going to be streaming that. I still want to finish Liza P. But I ended up not having any time to finish it off. So, you know, I'll either come back and try and finish Liza P. If I end up not having time, I'll probably be back Sunday, or I'll just say I will be back Sunday streaming Lords of the Fallen. I'm quite looking forward to that game. I'm hoping it's a good one. But I'm just, with game streams and that now, it's like I'm not doing here's 2 hours and here's another 2 hours. I'm just, you know, when I've got enough time to sit down for at the very least 4 hours, that just so I'm not having like 19 parts of one game. I'd rather keep it a bit more smaller than that in terms of the amount of streams. So that is what I got coming. We've went over all the update stuff, so there's no need to reiterate that point. But yeah, that is today's episode, I suppose. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm probably going to try and figure out a proper schedule to keep with these streams. Just so we're doing it at the same time every week. That way it's you're more likely to get more of an audience. Because then at least you're sticking within a particular schedule. But we will finish there. And as I say, I'll be back at some point. Back to regular videos by Monday. But yeah, that's kind of all I've got for for now. So I will see you on the next one.